Welcome to Shofar So Good, everything DIY. Shalom Saints. Hi Kate. Today I'm going to show you how to do something simple that everybody should know how to do. Nobody really has a reason not to do this. Something that can save you a lot of money. It saves me at least 66% of the cost it would take to have somebody else do it, and that is change your own oil. The cheapest oil change I've ever seen advertised was $30, and I've seen them go for as much as $70 to $80. And to me, that just sounds ridiculous because it's so easy. And myself, for my car, I can do it for $10 or less. So I'm going to assume you don't know anything about it or how to do it at all. First thing you're going to need to do is buy your oil. And if you don't know what kind of oil you need, just pop your hood. There will be a latch down here. Just pull on that and lift up your hood, and then
what?
I'm talking to the camera. There's a wood hold-up rod. Just stick that in the notch, and then find your oil cap. Mine's right here, and it will say right on the oil cap 5W30. I'm using 10W30. I'm not too concerned about that. Like I said, I'm not too concerned about that because I have an older car, and if you want to do a little bit of research, you can on what the numbers mean. Basically, 5W30 is a oil that is it's thinner in colder weather, so it is easier for the engine to run, and 10W30 is a thicker oil. There's all kinds of different oils. The newer cars sometimes use fully synthetic zero weight oil. It's a little more expensive. If you have an older car, I would recommend high mileage unless you have a bad oil leak. In that case, just use regular mileage oil, conventional oil, because it's just going to drip out and you're not going to get the life of the oil, so you're just going to be wasting money. Another thing I forgot to mention to get is an oil filter. You want to get one of these because, as the name sounds, it filters your oil. It'll help it last longer. Just look up in a book at your Walmart or auto parts store. It'll tell you which one to get. This is for a 96 Honda Accord. You also might want to get, this is a oil wrench. This is a universal one, so it fits many different sizes. You want to get one of these because you'll probably end up working on more than one car, and if you get one that fits only one size, then you're wasting your money. This is a good one. The filters can be put on pretty tight, especially if they're put on by a service dealer or somebody like that, because they tend to not really care about your car, to be honest. In fact, usually they'll probably want it to break so you can pay them to do more work. But the way this works, this will be on a threaded nipple on the engine, usually horizontal, and then you just put this wrench around it and pull the strap tight, and then pull in the direction that it says left counterclockwise to loosen. Once you have your equipment, the first step is to pull your parking brake. Then put something behind the back tires to make sure it doesn't roll back. Next, you're going to need to get a jack stand and a jack. Make sure that the jack is big enough for your car. They're rated in tons. Mine is 3.5 tons, so I can basically lift anything that I'll ever work on, except for maybe a semi. Usually they're 2 tons. I wouldn't recommend getting the small ones because it may not be able to handle the weight of your car, and usually it doesn't have enough lift to go up. So it's more for just jacking your car up and changing a tire. It can't actually lift the car up high enough for you to get under it. Just make sure that however much your car weighs, that your jack can handle it. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, just in case you didn't know. Okay, once you have your jack, here's my jack. You need to roll it under the car. The way this works is if you turn it all the way to the left, it's going to make the jack go down, and then turn it to the right, it engages it, and then you start pumping and it comes up. So get it to the point where it's all the way down. Roll it under the car, and then you need to find a place that will be able to hold the weight of the car. And if you see right here, this is my center bar. It helps hold the engine up, and that is a good place to put the jack. See all this plastic? That's a bad place. That's basically nothing is under it. You don't want to put it on the engine or the transmission because you'll damage them. So put it on the center bar right here. Here's a better look. Here's my jack stands. Just get it up high enough where you can get under the car, all the way under the engine there. I wouldn't recommend putting on the highest pinhole because it tends to be a little less stable. Mine car isn't jacked up high enough, but you see right here, if it'll focus, that piece of metal here, this is a pinch weld that is welded to the frame. That's where you want to put your jack. You don't want to put it anywhere else unless you're sure that it'll hold up the car, because you might hit something that looks strong but is hard, and then your car will come crashing down. Never get under a car that doesn't have jack stands on it. This jack looks steady, and it probably is, but it has a little rubber seal inside of it. Sometimes those fail, and if it fails while you're under it, it'll kill you. You want to put your jack stands a little bit further back than what you might think, because the car is going to roll backwards as it comes down. This is good. Then you're going to shake your car. Shake it like you mean it, because if it comes down with just a little bit of force, that's not something you want to be under. So I don't want to say basically try to make it fall, but you know, try to make it fall. So I'm really putting my weight into it. That's pretty safe. Make sure your car has cooled down and isn't too hot. That oil is going to be hot and it will burn you if it gets on you. Learn from my mistakes. Now grab an oil pan or something to catch the oil. This one I got at Walmart for about $10. It's pretty good. It's got the spout that closes off so you can pour it into a bigger container. Crawl under your car and find the oil drain plug. If you have oil running down your car, that's a pretty good indication where it might be at. This one's here. It's 17 millimeter. Stick your oil pan under that, take that bolt off, and let it drain. Something to help it make it go faster is go back up to the top of the engine and take off your oil filler cap. That'll help it drain faster. Okay, two more things here. You see that little thing there? That was closed. If that's closed, you want to open that up. Because when the oil comes in the hole here and goes down, it'll start creating pressure and it'll bubble up and kind of make a mess. So that'll help it flow a lot better. Also, here's my drain plug. These usually have magnets on it. Check this and see if there are any oil or metal shavings, excuse me. If there are, that probably means you've been neglecting your oil changes and it's starting to you know, tear up your engine. That's not a good thing, so get busy with those oil changes. You want to do an oil change? I do mine every 3,000 miles. A lot of people say that's too often, but my engines are going to last forever. I've never had a major breakdown, only minor stuff on all the cars I've ever had. You could do 6,000 miles probably on a regular oil change, regular oil. And then if your car doesn't leak the oil and you have synthetic or high mileage oil that is designed for a longer life, you can usually go 10 to 12, sometimes they say 15,000 miles. I don't go that long because I don't trust it, but you know, however much money you want to put in is however much performance and life you're going to get out of your engine. It's a good habit if you have oil leaks. You can clean the bottom of your engine here. Anywhere you see shiny, light reflected, basically there's some kind of fluid there. This is good for helping to find out where the leak's coming from. I know I have a bad oil leak and I'm not going to do anything about it because this car is about to be put to the graveyard. So I'm just going to leave it alone, but you can clean it up if you want. Alright, now you're going to have to find your oil filter. Mine's on the back of the engine. Usually they're on the back of the front. Basically find the thing that looks pretty much like the new part. take that off while your car is draining. Some people will say to fill this up with oil and put oil around the rim. That's not a bad idea. However, I don't do it because I find that when you turn it over, all the oil just comes out and it's messy and it wastes the oil. And with a car this old, I'm not too concerned about it. It's only going to be dry for, you know, a second. It'll be okay. And just wait until most of the oil comes out. This is dripping, but most of the oil's out, so I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. You can look online for how tight to put this on, measured in foot-pounds, or you can use what's called the two-finger rule. Gotta turn my wrench to tighten. What you do is put your two fingers on the end of the wrench, put it on there, don't like wrap around it, but put it on and pull until basically your fingers slip off. That'll guarantee you never over tighten anything. And just give it one little good tighten it up. That'll be fine. Make sure you have plenty of paper towels to clean up with, and if you care about your driveway or whatever the car is over while you're doing this, have something put down because you will make a mess. I am all dirty and I've done this plenty of times. There's the new oil filter in. Turn it till it's snug and then turn it a little bit tighter. You don't have to get it on there super tight. You don't want to, it'll damage the threads. Once you're done with that, you're basically done. Lower the car down. In the reverse process, just jack it up a little bit. Take the jack stands under and then lower it down. And then you can look in your owner's manual, or sometimes on your gas cap, or online, and see how much oil you'll need. This is about 4.5 quarts. More oil for bigger engines. Just figure out whatever the amount that is, and then fill up a little less than that. Wait a while, and then check your dipstick. Here's mine. You look on here, you'll see two little holes. Make sure the oil is probably about 3/4 up, somewhere between those two holes, two indicators. If it's below that, you need a little more oil. Just keep adding until you're between those two indicators. Something else I want to mention, when you're checking your oil after you fill it, make sure you wipe off that oil that's on the stick already, otherwise it'll give you a false reading. Here's another helpful hint. See that stuff in there? You can check underneath your gas oil filler cap to see how well your engine's doing. You see how it's milky and kind of whitish? That indicates that there's probably coolant in there, and I'm pretty sure there is. I'm pretty sure that there's a small head gasket leak somewhere, and that's why it's making it that color. Every once in a while, probably once every year or so, a year or two, it'll leak on the ground that color. Looks like coffee. I'm not going to do anything about it again because it's a lot of work and this engine doesn't really deserve it as old as it is. But there's some diagnosis tricks for you. Put an oil filter or an oil funnel in your oil filler hole. Make sure it's clean. And here's a tip. If you know you're going to use your entire bottle of oil, whether it's 5 quarts or a quart, probably not if it's a quart, but if it's 5 quarts and you know you're going to use that much, put a hole in the handle. That will, similarly to opening that hole, that'll relieve pressure and it'll keep it from slopping around so much. Well, we're done with my car here today. If you enjoyed this video and you found it useful at all, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends on Facebook or what have you. That lets me know that you enjoy this stuff and want to hear more. If you like this genre of DIY car maintenance, let me know and I'll do some other stuff, other videos. I know a little bit about cars. I have been maintaining my own cars since I was able to drive, since I was 16. I've changed transmissions, so I know a little bit. If you have any questions, I can help you. Just let me know. Shalom.